Hello, welcome to Quick Grade Educational Hub. Now, today we are going to look at common words in sociology. As an Igcse student, I believe that you'll be able to answer sociology questions very well when you have a deeper understanding of the various common words that will be used in sociology. And so today, I'm going to run you through the common command words that we normally see in the Igcse exams or when you are solving past papers. Now, the first one that we look at normally when you are trying to answer questions on identity, family, research method, the first questions normally ask you to define something, especially in family education, stratification, crime, and then the identity. They will normally ask you to define the following terms. And so when they ask you to define something, what the examiners want from you is to give the exact meaning of a term. For example, define socialization. Say that socialization is a process through which individuals learn the norms, values, and behaviors of the society. And so this is the exact meaning of the term socialization. It is only 2 months, so do not go about explaining plenty or writing a lot about socialization. At the end of the day, you only earn 2 marks. Now, the second common word is give. When they ask you to give an example of something or give something, what happens is that you have to provide a short or direct answer. So we look at the example that I have on the screen. Give one example of formal social control. The example is straightforward. The police. You can talk about the armed force, the military, the penal system. Just give the example. Do not explain who a police is or the meaning of police to the examiner. They are not interested because once you are asked to give an example of something, it is only going to earn you 1 mark. So you know that you are working with time in the examination. So do not go and explain. It will not earn you any additional marks. Now we look at one of the terms that is also very common in the research methods, especially the first question 1 AI, where you are normally asked to identify something from a source. So when they ask you to identify something, it also means name or state something briefly. So normally in the source, they'll just ask you to name something from the source. Just look at the answers in the source and then name them. Do not explain. You don't need any explanations because it's also 1 mark. So if you look at the example that I have on the screen, identify 2 agents of socialization. There are so many agents of socialization, but here is identify 2. So we talk about family and education. Do not waste time to explain what family or education is to the examiner. It is not important. Now we'll move on to the next one, which is describe. When they ask you to describe something, they are asking you to give detailed characteristics or features of something. No reasons needed. You don't have to go over the board, try to impress the examiner by writing so many things about what they are asking you to describe. Just give the feature or the characteristic and then you are good to go. And so let's take a look at my example. Describe the features of a nuclear family. If you look at the indicative content of the answer that I have here, a nuclear family consists of 2 parents and their children living together. That is very true and precise. It is usually small in size and based on close emotional relationships. You just talk about the characteristics and you move. Now, this is very important. Explain, because over the years, I've realized that students overlook this command word. When they ask them to explain something, sometimes they just state the reason and then they leave it like that, thinking that they will earn the 2 marks. And when they ask you to explain something, what examiners want from you, the candidate, is to give reasons or show how or why something happens. So with the example that I have on the screen, explain how the family socializes children. The command word explain is very important. So you tell the examiner how the family socializes its members. You also have to tell the examiner how or why they do that. Very important. So let's look at my indicative content. The family socializes children by teaching norms and values such as respect and acceptable behavior. That is a very good point. How do they do it? So you see that my further explanation is trying to give the examiner a clear idea of how the family socializes what its members. Say parents shape children's behavior by using rewards and punishments, which helps them learn what is expected in society. So you give a brief explanation as to how they do it, how they socialize their members. Very important. Now, the last one, then we end the lesson here, is evaluate. Normally, when they ask students, especially the 14-mark questions in sociology, when they ask you to evaluate something, they normally find it very difficult. They don't know that they have to discuss or consider the strengths and weaknesses and give a judgment. That is why in your sociology exams, whenever they ask you the 14-mark question, whenever they ask you to evaluate something, you see that they'll give you reasons. Your answer should include 3 arguments for the debate and 3 arguments against the debate, and then a conclusion. The conclusion is where the examiner wants to hear your judgment. What do you think about the debate? Your take on everything that you discussed so far. And so when they ask you to evaluate, you have to consider the strengths and weaknesses and give a judgment. Your judgment basically means your take on the debate that you are, writing about. So I have a brief example here to demonstrate what we are discussing here. Evaluate the view that education promotes equality. Somebody can also ask you that evaluate the view that family is the most important agent of socialization. It means I need to consider the strength and weaknesses of the debate. And then you add your opinion, that is your judgment, in your concluding chapter. So let's look at the answer that I have here. Education can promote equality by giving all students access to knowledge and opportunities. That is your argument for the debate. The argument against the debate, however, sociologists argue that factors like social class and gender inequality still affect achievements. So that is your argument against the debate. This is very brief to give you a fair idea. Then your judgment. So overall, education can reduce inequality, but it does not eliminate it but completely. That is what you would think about the debate. So when they ask you to evaluate something, writing 3 arguments for the debate or 3 arguments against the debate and a conclusion, it means that you have to discuss the strength of the debate, use the weaknesses to speak against the debate, and then tell the examiner what you think, your judgment, your overall understanding, and your take on the debate in the concluding chapter. So we will end the lesson here. This is on command words. My next video is going to be on how to answer questions on research method. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel, you share the video, you like it, so that other people can also get access to our videos on the channel. I'll see you in my next video.